Hey Frag fam, what is going on? I hope you guys are all doing well today. Elliot here. Welcome back to the Fragrance Wheel. For today's video, what we're gonna do is we're gonna build the perfect collection. And we're gonna base that collection off of three things: good longevity, great wearability, and high compliment factor. The reason I am using these three metrics is, let's just be honest, for the overwhelming majority of guys that choose to wear fragrances, these are three of the things they are looking for in today's day and age. So I'm taking myself out of it. I am simply presenting fragrances that I believe have a high probability of checking these boxes in terms of having a great collection and a number of options. I got 10 fragrances to do this. They are all of different types. They cover a little bit of a wide range of fragrance styles, which I think is good. It's a good thing to know that, you don't have to do this with just one type of fragrance. Now, let me say this. I do think it goes without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway, that you can wear the most highest complimented fragrance on the planet, but if you look a mess, you can't present yourself in a nice way, you can't hold down a simple conversation, you can't interact with people, the chances of you getting a ton of compliments and all that good stuff is going to be a lot lower, in my opinion. I do think there are other factors that play into you getting compliments. Let's just be honest. All of this stuff kind of culminates into getting compliments with your fragrances, but that's neither here nor there. We're just gonna go ahead and get right into the fragrances because this is just a straightforward video. No need to drag this out. But before we do, as always, please remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you do like the content, and please hit that bell icon, enable notifications so you can be notified when I upload new videos. And of course, I will leave links to the fragrances down in the description below if they are available. Let's get into it. All right, guys, so before we get into the fragrances, there is one thing I want to point out. This is less about the actual fragrances I'm talking about and more so about the DNAs that they represent. Some of these are original creations, some of these are offshoots of other creations. A lot of these on the list have clones or other forms, other packages, if you will, inspired by fragrances that I think can work the same. The point is about the DNA in particular, what the fragrance smells like. That's what I think kind of lends itself to being good for the list I'm putting together. So just kind of keep that in mind. Doesn't have to be the actual fragrance I'm talking about. So first off, we're going to start with Orto Parisi, and it's going to be Megamare. Orto Parisi, Megamare. I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard about this fragrance by now. If you have, you know one thing is for sure with this scent. It is nuclear. You spray this on, oh my goodness, it just completely overwhelms the air around it, just captures it, just takes it hostage. This is, to me, kind of a soapy aquatic, slightly soapy aquatic scent that frankly is just very, very palatable. A lot of people like it. The compliment factor is off the charts on this stuff here. I did mention it kind of has a little bit of a soapy vibe, so I do feel it comes across a little bit clean. It's not like a dirty aquatic, but at the same time, it's not the easiest aquatic on the nose, if that makes sense. But point being is, you talk about longevity, wearability, and compliment factor, this fragrance absolutely has it. There are other forms out there of this fragrance, probably some cheaper, some more expensive also. So there's a wide range of ways to approach a scent DNA like this. But I think for the majority of them, the thought process of this is a fragrance that can be good on compliments, good on longevity, and good on wearability, that box is checked for this type of scent DNA. So once again, from Orto Parisi, this is Megamare. All right, guys, next one's coming from Christian Dior. This is Dior Homme 2020 release. Dior Homme 2020. Now, I don't know if there is a scent out there that came before this one that just kind of smells exactly like this. I'm sure there are probably some clones of this by now. There's even a flanker to this one that could be an alternative, but I think can kind of have the same effect, which is Dior Homme Sport, the 2021 release. Actually, my scent of the day today. But Dior Homme 2020, look, we can get past the whole hate for it because it wasn't iris based like the one that preceded it. That's old news at this point. Clean, woody, with a little bit of a gooey, lemony, elemy resin, thick kind of vibe to it. Musky notes, cedar wood like notes. Isogamma Super is, believed to be heavily used in this scent. That is something that kind of can give a fragrance a lot more longevity. So check the longevity box Wearability, super easy to wear here. This is like a perfect modern day Homme style fragrance. The fragrance for men that just kind of works, has some class to it. That's what this scent has. Perfect fragrance for this list as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, Dior Homme 2020 is a perfect fragrance for this list. Will absolutely kind of check all those boxes as far as I'm concerned. And it smells great. And again, if you don't want this one, if there are clones out there, by all means, go get them. I don't care. It's about the smell here. So once again, from Dior, this is Dior Homme 2020. All right, guys, next one's going to be coming from Guerlain. This is going to be L'Homme Idéal. This is the Eau de Parfum. Guerlain L'Homme Idéal Eau de Parfum. And you know what? Doesn't have to be the Eau de Parfum. I do believe, well, I haven't smelled every version of the L'Homme Idéal line, but I get a good feeling that anybody could find one out of the extensive line that they like, and it would probably work the same for all of these. Outside of maybe the longevity thing, I don't know about that for sure. I did go with this one because this one I do think you get decent longevity out of it. I get like 8 to 10 hours typically out of this on a good day. Some days, maybe with the environment, it's a little shorter, but it can reach that. And also, yeah, this one smells outstanding. That's part of the reason why the L'Homme Idéal line is so popular. This one has a little bit of a slightly gourmand kind of touch, a little bit of a nutty feel, kind of spicy, fruity thing going on there. Really nice woody base to it, clean woods, a little bit of leather in there just to add a little bit more depth to the scent. Smells great in the air. Awesome scent, right? Guerlain L'Homme Idéal in general is a very popular line for a reason. I thought about doing the EDT because I really like the EDT even, but I do know for that one I don't necessarily get the best longevity out of it, so I left that one off intentionally. And again, if you like different variations of this, but maybe they don't last as long, well, then I guess it wouldn't be for the perfect collection in terms of longevity, wearability, and compliment factor. But you get the point. Once again, from Guerlain, this one here is L'Homme Idéal Eau de Parfum. All right, guys, next one's coming from Arabian Oud, and this is Diwan. Arabian Oud Diwan. So this fragrance here, you're gonna get fresh, spicy, clean, musky, slight fruity vibe. And first thing here with the longevity, all day scent, easily, no problem with that. Compliment factor through the roof with this fragrance. It smells just outstanding, right? And wearability, this is very easy to wear. I think any guy could easily wear this. A bunch of women could wear this if they wanted to. This one here uses, in my opinion, is definitely using aroma chemicals, synthetics. So it's overall synthetic fragrance. Nothing in this really smells overly authentic. And as you may know, synthetics in general tend to last longer than the real stuff because it is just kind of made to last longer. It's easy for, it takes a lot longer for it to break down. So this one here, longevity is just not a problem, but this is one that actually smells good. Doesn't always have to smell like the real thing to be just simply a good smelling and effective fragrance. And that's what this is. So once again, from Arabian Oud, we have got Diwan. All right, we're going to move on to one coming from Jizada. This is Ambassador. Jizada Ambassador. All right, so longevity with this one, check it off. Anytime I've worn this, easily on my skin for the majority of the day. Wearability factor, very, very nice. To me, this is kind of a fruity Sauvage. That's what I like to call it. Does it smell 100% like Sauvage? Of course not. But it definitely just paints that picture in my mind. Like if I were to take Sauvage, kind of tone down the spice, get rid of that shower gel vibe to it, and then add some fruitiness and a lot more sweetness. There you go. This is Fruity Sauvage. Kind of a mango apple kind of thing. Doesn't really smell all that realistic, but that's the vibe you get from it. You definitely get the lavender. You definitely get some spicy, peppery notes. Biggest separator is this one is not like an Ambroxan bomb. It is teak wood. Smells awesome. Compliment factor on this, very, very high. Matter of fact, I go as far as to say this is a smoother version of a Sauvage-like fragrance. And the reason I say that is I've been told it. More than one occasion when I've been complimented, when I've worn this, the person would always say like, it's not too much. It's not overbearing. It's noticeable, but it doesn't blow my nose off of my face. I think this fragrance does wear that way as long as you don't overspray it. So this one here, perfect for the kind of collection we're putting together for this video. So once again, from Jizada, this one here is Ambassador. All right, guys, this next one is coming from Paco Rabanne, and this is Invictus Parfum. Paco Rabanne Invictus Parfum. Now, I admittedly am not a massive Invictus fan. However, I do like this one. And what is it, Legend? The one that's in the black bottle, that one doesn't count. It's its own thing. But there's just no denying that Invictus in general definitely gets compliments. For a lot of people, it's very wearable simply because it's just a big compliment magnet. And obviously longevity is typically not a issue with a lot of these Paco Rabanne scents. So that's certainly the case with this one. I like this one because it is not bubblegum sweet. Has the sweetness, does smell like an Invictus fragrance, but it's a much more mature Invictus package, and that's why I don't mind owning this one. This one does have a little bit of this soapy thing going on, so I really appreciate that. Kind of a fresher, spicy kick to it, and as I already stated, it's just not ridiculously sweet. Definitely sweet, but not like bubblegum, super juvenile type of sweet. But this one checks all those boxes as well. So once again, from Paco Rabanne, this is Invictus Parfum. All right, guys, this next one's coming from Giorgio Armani. Rest in peace to him. And this is going to be Acqua di Giò Profumo. Giorgio Armani, Acqua di Giò Profumo. Yes, I know this is discontinued. I do believe sometimes you can find it, but the thing is, it doesn't have to be this one. It can be the Parfum iteration. I like this one over the Parfum because I do think they made some changes, but if I'm being completely honest, I think they made the newer Parfum actually a lot more wearable because they dialed down the incense from what I remember, or maybe they dialed down the patchouli. It was one of those two things, but this is the Acqua di Giò DNA with incense and patchouli. Aquatic, spicy, clean, a little bit aromatic, some sage-like notes in there with incense and patchouli. So this one is my favorite by far. It's still the only one I own. But nevertheless, it checks all those boxes. This is a great performing fragrance. Everybody knows a lot of iterations of Acqua di Giò is very high on the compliment chart and the wearability chart. So this one is just an easy choice. And again, even if you can't find this one or you don't own this one, you can get the Parfum or even just some of the other iterations. I actually don't mind the Elixir. I don't know if I want to buy it, but I do like the Elixir, the newest iteration of that as well. So once again, from Giorgio Armani, this is Acqua di Giò Profumo. All right, guys, this next one is coming from Xerjoff, and this is 40 knots. Come on, focus. Thank you. This is Xerjoff's 40 knots. All right, so if you know about this scent, then you know. This one easily checks all those boxes. This fragrance is basically eternal as far as I'm concerned. Compliment factor, easily through the roof. Now, wearability may be a little bit of an asterisk for some people, but for me personally, I think it is. I think you can wear this fragrance at any time. This is one of those scents where you kind of adjust the sprays to kind of get it to work when you need it to. So if you're somewhere where, you know, the scents could be a little bit more sensitive, then just simply dial back the sprays. This is a slightly spicy, rich, ambery, aquatic fragrance in its own right. Kind of smells similar to Dior Ombre Nuit, but kind of got away from the rose patchouli thing and still captured that essence and give it to you in like a seaside, sea breeze amber package. Awesome stuff, right? Yeah, so I already kind of mentioned this one just checks all the boxes. If you know, you already know with this fragrance. We don't really need to go into it any more than that. So once again, from Xerjoff, this is 40 knots. All right, guys, next one's coming from Louis Vuitton, and this is Imagination. Louis Vuitton, Imagination. Yet another one. Do I really need to do any convincing here? By the way, we're talking about the scent DNA. If you don't want to pay full retail for this Louis Vuitton fragrance, because you're going to have to unless you can find someone who is selling it at a lower price, then don't buy a clone of it. I don't care. It's about the scent in this video, not necessarily this particular bottle. But the reason there are clones to this that people like is because the scent DNA works, right? Fresh, spicy tea fragrance, loads of Ambrox in here, makes really good use of Ceylon cinnamon to give it this brighter, spicy feel, good use of ginger and bergamot. The scent is simple, but it just freaking works. Compliment factor through the roof, longevity through the roof, and wearability obviously through the roof. So this is a great fragrance, or should I say a great scent DNA for building a collection with those three things in mind. So once again, from Louis Vuitton, this is Imagination. All right, guys, we're going to close out the video with one from Mason Francis Kirkjohn. It's going to be Baccarat Rouge 540. This is the Extrait, but either one works. Baccarat Rouge 540. I'm gonna say it again. Same thing I said for Imagination. If you don't want to pay for this, then buy a clone of it. I don't care. But we all know this scent DNA is easily one of the most effective scent DNAs on the planet, even to this day, even though it's kind of old and tired for, us reviewer guys and collector guys and guys who are into fragrances. We're kind of like, oh, come on, man. BR540 is old. Point is, guys, I guarantee you this stuff still works. It doesn't matter. That weird saffron-based, jasmine-based, woody, kind of pillowy cloud, cotton candy feeling kind of scent that's just super unique, but for whatever reason, it captured the world by storm. It still works. And again, plenty of alternatives to this. Direct clones, just inspired by. Obviously, Mancera Instant Crush is a massively popular one that checks all the boxes that this one does. Has the longevity, has the wearability, has the compliment factor. We know that this has, but again, you don't have to necessarily pay for this one if you don't want to. Get a good scent DNA that's centered around this, and it will work. So once again, from Mason Francis Kirkjohn, this is Baccarat Rouge 540 Extrait. All right, guys, that is going to wrap it up for this video. If you would like to, let me know down in the comments below, what are some fragrances you feel you have in your collection that checks these 3 boxes and would therefore make the perfect collection centered around these 3 things: longevity, wearability, and compliment factor. I would love to see what you guys have to say. Thanks again for watching all the way into the end. I really do appreciate you all. Please remember to be well and smell well. And I will see you in the next episode of The Fragrance Well. Have a good one.